Hey, Burge, how are you?
Hey, Jared.
Great to see you. Yay. I'm so glad you're here. How have you been?
It's been very busy and challenging, but I'm on the mend and things are doing well, or I'm feeling better. Let's put it that way.
I'm glad to hear that. I definitely want to hear more details when you can share them, when we can talk. We'll save it for another time. Emiliano, it's great. I'm grateful that you're here. We're recording now. It's 8:01, so let's kind of like just breathe into this moment because that's where I'm at right now. Is that I didn't even realize in our last meeting that this really was going to be more of like a final gathering of all of us, because I'm I'm being in the space of what's there right now, and I'm going to share with you guys. I really want to spend time, and I imagine other people will be joining us, and maybe in a couple minutes I'll send some messages to see, who else might join us. But the I want to kind of share everything I have to share over the next 20, 30 minutes. I want to keep it to that amount if I can, and then leave the rest of the space open for conversation and engagement and whatever anybody wants to share. So does that work for you guys?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but yes.
I appreciate it. Yeah. In terms of what's going on, um, you know, let me put my tea in so I can be hydrated for this adventure I'm about to share with you guys. Excuse me for that. Okay. So I've been in the space. Let me pull up my agenda to share. Okay. So first of all, I do want to express my gratitude to each of you and to all the other Leadership Council members for the incredible and pivotal role that you've played during this Leadership Council experience. And again, along the way, you guys have been asking me, everyone's asked me at some point, what happens after and what's the continuation? And even last meeting, I was mentioning that, I saw it shifting more to the manifestation process council. But since then, I've realized, and I realized from really all of your guys' feedback and everything that what needs to happen right now is this system needs to be alive in the world. It needs to be functioning. And when I say the system, I mean the automated system of creating web pages so that somebody can go all the way through the entire manifestation process in a self-service format, even to the point of building their own web pages with their own video clips, with their own everything. And in that way, by having the full self-service model and the full service model available, we're letting the world use the system to create whatever value they can create for themselves. And for everyone, it'll be different. And as we've been discussing, and I'm seeing it more and more and more, and even in myself, and I'm going to share that in a bit, is that as much as we can have tools that let us do things and give us power, we're totally limited, at least I can say for myself for sure. I'm totally limited by the internal obstacles and challenges and patterns, many of which I'm going to share tonight, and lots of which, Burge, you and others, help people with. And this is where we've been talking about that, the support part is just as important as the solutions part, because again, the tools in our hands are only as good as we can be empowered to use and manifest the divine ultimate manifestation of what we can be. right? And so it's really this combination of the tools and the solution and the support. And so in order to have all of the tools available in an automated way, in order to have the whole marketplace of the support people available, in order to have this complete functioning model that I've been describing, I've got to do a deep dive right now into doing some programming and getting it done and having it functional, like where everybody can sign up and anybody can sign up and go from A to Z and just do their own thing. And it's all automated with the Google Docs and the mind maps and everything. And so that's what I've been trying to get out of me over the last few weeks in fits and starts. And it's really been challenging. And I'm going to show you guys where I've gotten to with it. Let me do that now to give you guys some more catch up and context. So any questions from either of you? Comment?
Yes, not about what you're talking about.
What's that?
I said yes, but not what you're talking about.
Okay, I hear you. Well, you know, let me take a pause while I'm saying that to, first of all, let me pull up those pages just since I just mentioned it, so I don't leave you on pins and needles with that. Hold on a second. Okay, so here we go. So here is the new manifestation process page that I'm working on that's actually still in a bit of progress. But what I'm doing is creating this description. And this, by the way, is Dylan Burge, since you haven't met him. He is, we've been working with him, and as you can see, Emiliano and has been working with me with him to support him as a client, and you'll see more of him. So the option for the self-service and then examples with Electric Token and Abundancia of the use of the manifestation process. And then, you know, we can go to the self-service model. So when we click on self-service, then what it does is it takes us to this page, which again takes us step by step by step. And so first it talks about the outcome, and the manifestation process helps you mind map all your visions and identify the resources you need and create inspiring content. And so let me actually show you. Just bring it up in Photoshop. So I was just creating this diagram, which I'm still going to change a bit, but you can get a sense of, again, the kind of simplicity and building blocks that I'm working on, you know, narrowing this down to for people to be able to see and understand. Oops. Let's see it. So just very quickly, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but just saying what you want to getting what you want, the manifestation process. Here you are, you're specifying and clarifying your intentions in the visions, and then you're identifying the resources that you need in order to fulfill your visions. And then you're also specifying and quantifying what you have to offer, and then you're providing compelling offers that lead to agreements. And when you're basically you're identifying your resources through your visions, you're providing offers to them, and then you're working on creating agreements with those resources. And this is kind of the repetitive game of the manifestation process, is just identifying all the resources that you need in order to fulfill your vision, and then using this process to create agreements with them. So any questions about that? And welcome, Michael. I don't know if you can hear me yet. So any questions about what I was just sharing?
No.
Hey, Michael, welcome. Great to have you.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah, great to see you guys as well. And as you're coming on, I'm thinking maybe in a couple minutes we'll take a break to send a couple messages, because I know a couple other people had told me they'd be on and they're not on. So maybe they need some reminders. But let me go for a couple more minutes and then we'll take a break and see if anybody else wants to join us. And you guys, if you have anybody's number, you can go ahead and message them. So to get back to what I was saying, what we're doing with the self-service model is just creating, step by step by step. And then, here's like some preparation. And again, I took some of these clips from my conversation with Dylan and Emiliano, just setting up the background right, and the difference between having information public and private. And then getting into mapping your world and creating the mind maps, and then choosing the vision and identifying needed resources. And I'm actually going to play this 3-minute clip so you guys can see like how on point we're getting the process down in terms of describing it. And then I'll show you also another page with some examples, but let me show you this clip first. So this is after we've talked about the mind map, and now we're talking about the use of the mind map with the manifestation process worksheet. We use the mind map in conjunction with the manifestation process worksheet. So what the manifestation process worksheet is it's going from saying what you want to getting what you want. And we do that by identifying what you need. So the first thing we identify is the facilitators that you need to work with or coordinate with in order for your vision to be manifested into reality. So you've got these different projects, and when you pick one project, you say, well, I need this kind of person to do this, and I need this kind of business to do this, and you figure out all the pieces that you need to achieve that one vision, vision by vision. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's excellent.
Yeah, so you're writing down all the different types of facilitators. So maybe you need like a website programmer, and you need like a video editor, and you need like a social media marketer, and you're writing down the different types of entities you need, and then you go ahead and identify the incentives that you have to offer them, right? Typically in our society, it's payment, right? I'm going to pay you this to do this job for me. So that's traditional, but we're broadening it because there's all kinds of ways that people are exchanging value within the system, right? So you're providing whatever incentives that you can just to get an agreement with that type, right? Or however many agreements that you need. And I'm going to get actually down to some of the more mechanics of it. But does that make sense at that level?
Yes.
Okay. So you're doing that not only with the facilitators that you need, but you're also identifying the referrers that can help you recruit the facilitators. Okay. So you need, I need a website developer. Let me talk to Rico, because Rico can point me in the right direction on that. Right. So he's like a referrer for you. He might refer you to a specific facilitator that can support you in that area. Make sense?
Yes.
Any questions or anything?
No. I can't believe this. This is crazy.
And then last is the analyst. So you identify the analyst that can help you identify and quantify or qualify the facilitators that you seek. So again, like you're saying to yourself, I know I need video editing, but I have no idea whether I'm going to have to pay $200 for this or $2,000 for this. So who do I know that can give me that answer, that can help me understand how I need to, negotiate essentially with the facilitators that I need. Make sense? So again, you're looking for ways to incentivize people to be referrers for you, people to be analysts for you, Maybe it's, your sister and she's just going to do it because she loves you, or maybe, it's a friend that, wants a favor in return, so you just see what it is for everything that you're looking for. But in the end, you're looking to create agreements with all the facilitators you need. You're using the referrers to help you find those facilitators, and you're using the analysts to help you make sure you get the right ones. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So you guys can see how we're tightening it up. we're putting it in packaging that people can digest it and use it, and it can be replicated over and over again. And not just that people can use it on their own, but Emiliano, as you just saw, is being a part of this process. And Emiliano is going to be our first paid contractor analyst. And so he's given us an hourly rate, and he's made available up to 20 hours a month right now. And this one client that we're working with, Dylan, has expressed an interest in perhaps using all of those hours in the coming month. So we're in the process of either negotiating that contract or other contracts that will not only use Emiliano's hours, but also I'm about to send a message to all of our, more than 30 past interns to see which of them might be interested in doing this type of work and what their rate would be. And also our own intern is going to start to do it at no cost, internally. So we'll have a range, and we can start to, when we're ready to recruit widely student interns and others, we'll be able to have a range of, next to no cost to us, versus very high cost for high level contractors. And actually, Emiliano, I want to give him a chance to say something for a couple minutes about his experience around it. And also that Emiliano, heard Dylan say something in terms of, the way he wanted to finance things. And Emiliano said, oh, I think that's something I can support with. And he brought in a whole nother set of resources that, wasn't a part of the Uniting for Action portfolio. So he's got this whole realm, and it just shows us how much we can have a whole realm of different types of people that are using the manifestation process with all these other pieces and integrating in order to provide full services to everybody, whatever support they need. So Emiliano, you want to share your thoughts around all of this and what you've experienced with this?
Sure. Well, Jared asked me if I wanted to work with people around this and help them basically take their thoughts and put them into paper, into a mind map, like the way he does it. And I accepted. I thought it was really interesting, and I'm very excited to help others. So as we were working on the process with Dylan, there was a point where it was becoming challenging to see how Dylan's vision could fill out the paperwork or the refer and the processor and all the pieces that Jared just pointed in the video. So I'm like, I think we need to figure exactly what's the main priority in your vision, like what do you have to accomplish, and we break it down into that main priority. We break it down into what do you need to accomplish it. And so his main priority was like TikTok, and he wanted to do something. So we took TikTok and saw what he needed there. And then he said, I don't even know how I'm going to fund this. So then I said, okay, well, let's take funding and apply the same process. And outside of doing the process, I also thought of like, let's create a projection of your finances. Like, how are you going to raise the money? Are you going to do look for angel investors? Are you going to ask for a loan? Are you going to ask your friends and family? Are you going to, and so come up with all the ways you're going to receive the money and what are your costs for the next 12 months to see what's actually so and what you need, because I don't think he has that information. So create this template to that, and that's what Jared was referring to. So yeah, just working with him on exactly whatever he needs at that moment to move his vision forward and create momentum.
Exactly. And it's just, the whole realm of what it all comes down to is the simplicity of this, statement basically, is that the discipline that this process dictates for people in terms of, if you want to get your vision accomplished and you self-define these very specific resources that you need in order to get that done, then you have to fill in each one of those resources to get what you want done. I mean, it's just very straightforward, but if you think about it, that's what most people are not doing, which is why most people are not achieving their vision, because there's some missing piece somewhere or several of them. And this is like either, you know, put up or shut up, you know, basically. It's like you're going to say that you're going to achieve this vision and you're going to put your energy behind it to do what you need to do to fill in all the pieces and make it happen. Or you're going to say to yourself, I'm not committing to this because I'm not committing to what it takes to get it done. And then the other part of it, again, is like we've been talking about, but if people are not in that kind of empowered place to take control of their destiny in their hands, then that's where they need somebody like Burge or somebody like Michael or somebody like a lot of other people out there that can help them be empowered in their world. And so this, again, is the world of what we're creating right now in this moment. And, you know, I want to help you guys understand the way that we're going to kind of transition now into an organization where essentially each of you are all, you know, clients. And we're providing support to you as we are, you know, to everybody, which is with the tools and with the support, with the people who can support. And especially, again, in building it out and having that all functional, then it's the opportunity for each of you to continue to use the tools and access the support as much as you want. And then also simultaneously, as we're talking about here, and Burge, we can jump back into your, you know, page and look at it as a perfect example where now we're presenting people with the opportunity for how the type of support that they can get and what they can use in order to, you know, be able to embody their fullest divine potential, because that's what we need, you know, right now, honestly, as you know. And I'm so seeing it, I have to, you know, take a moment to say, well, I've said a lot and I want to say a lot more. So let me take a breath and ask if there's any questions or any thoughts that any of you would like to share.
Like I said, my question is, what's going on? A, I haven't seen the page you did for me. B, are we not doing the council anymore, and why? And what does all this mean?
Yeah, thank you for asking those questions. Okay, so.
Did I miss something?
Well, yeah, you also didn't watch the last Leadership Council meeting video.
No. No.
So right. So I guess, and I apologize that I wasn't more insistent in you know, asking you to do that, Burge. You know, I shared the video with you. I shared your page with you. I can't make you look at it, but I want you to, and I want you to be engaged. And I understand that at the moment there's a lot missing for you. So let me see if there are other questions, and let me show you your page. And also, and I meant to do this, and I apologize, and this is just where, you know, it's a perfect example of part of what I'm going to get into, which is, you know, part of my, you know, disempowerment is my sense of overwhelm and my not, you know, inability to follow through on all the things that are in my mind, you know, and that I want to do. And one of the things that I wanted to do for you, Burge, was I wanted to pull out the section of last Leadership Council meeting 2 weeks ago where I presented your page in front of the Leadership Council, and at least let you watch, you know, that 10 minutes or whatever that was. And I apologize for not doing that, and also not sharing with you, you know, where it was in there, and just not, you know, holding your hand more than I have over the last couple of weeks. So I really apologize for not, you know, following through with you in that way, you know, especially with you being a client. You know, I could have been a better caretaker of you and helped you be more prepared now and through this process. So I really apologize for not following through in the ways that I really would like to imagine myself that I would. So I've fallen short of my own expectations, and I apologize for that. And, you know, I'm looking forward to now sharing your page with you and then catching you up on some more of the questions like, to quickly answer your question, yes, this is the end of the 3-month period for just about everybody in the Leadership Council. The people are on the call right now are all part of the January, February, March, and some of you go back even further. Some of you actually joined back in November and December, which were kind of bonus months in the end. Hey, Angie, great to have you here.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Jared.
Yeah, awesome. So yes, Burge, we talked in the last Leadership Council meeting about how things were going to evolve a bit, and they've evolved, even more, because as I'm sharing with you guys, I've realized that the work that needs to get done right now on the pages, to do the pages, even to do your page, Burge, let's look at your page so you can see how much, work has been put into it and how awesome it is, as an example. And again, the amount of concentrated effort that it takes day after day to do this type of work right now, it's going to get much better as more people get trained, and there's going to be it won't have to be me doing all of the work, and it's already not me having to do all of the work, but I do still need to do a lot of work just for Uniting for Action and just for creating these pages. So we'll do a quick run through, since Emiliano and Michael saw this last time, but Burge, I want you to see it for sure. So here's the Shamanasta page. So to begin with, this is the playlist. So it's not just this first question, answering your questions. This is the playlist of the 7 different videos that we have right now in the Shamanasta playlist. So this is just a 4-minute video to give, where you give like an introduction about it. And then this is where we give some background about you to give some context to people. And then it goes into this video, which you talk for 2 minutes and 50 seconds to get into talking about what Shamanasta shares about transitions, relationships, different feelings. I broke it down into all of these like bullets and sections to make it really easy to understand the content. And then here's the raw content with the 3 minutes, and here's what it all looks like processed. And then in addition to the processing, then you get down to the sessions, and this is where you talk for 2 minutes about how the session goes. And this is where you talk for 2 minutes about what the different offers are. And so here's about the sessions, again, in a bullet format, edited, really easy to digest in written format, talking about reviewing the recording. And then here's the different packages that you talk about and that are pulled out and then also combined with information from your website. And then again, right now they're just hooked up to like send them to you, but this is where we'll do the coding behind the scenes with referral codes and all of those sorts of things, so that all of this will be hooked up with the referral percentages going to different people who do the referring. And that's what we put in here. We participate in the Uniting for Action referral system, receive 10% referral commissions for all referrals, including monthly commissions for monthly members, your money back guarantee. So again, just packaging it all in as easy to understand and take in format as possible. And also realizing that, again, this is just the first draft. This is the first time you're seeing it. So now we get to go back and forth and make it even better. And then here's where you're talking about private sessions for a minute. So, you mentioned that and the opportunity to book that session. And then it goes into, where you went into a bit of time, 5 minutes, talking about, the different dimensions and the different realms and what it is for people that would want to maybe hear all of that. So in the end, you can see that actually the work that's involved in this page is actually a bit beyond what I said, I would do and what you asked for in terms of the contract, but I really wanted to create all of this so that you could see the whole thing in its full glory, basically, and that everybody could, and that this is what it turns into looking like when you process these videos. It can become that. And that's what we're going to create experts in doing and train the world how to do this. And basically this is super valuable in all contexts, because what we're doing is we're really eliminating so many conversations that happen over and over and over again, because most people are living in a world where they talk to all the different prospects that they have for any different thing that they're doing, whether it's whatever it is. You know, most people are just talking to every prospect. This eliminates so much of that for so many people, where you define what prospect groups they are in your world, whatever that is, whatever your needs are. You've got all these different prospect groups, and then you record one conversation with one of them, you edit it up, and now you send it out to the other 50, you know, or you make it available all the time. And by doing this over and over and over again for so many people and so many corporations, and so this is a whole new efficiency that doesn't exist in our society right now. So to be able to just introduce this whole level of efficiency and build out a whole organization that serves it as quickly as possible, that's like the game that we're stepping into right now, you know, as quickly as we can, as a foundation for everything else, as you guys know, as a foundation for being able to support, you know, what's happening out there in the world and allow people to use the system for everything. But this is the way that we're, you know, focusing on delivering it now as our, you know, first product, as we've talked about. So any questions or comments about all of that?
Whew.
I know, you tell me. You're telling me.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got lots of, it looks great. I'm just, I guess what I'm hearing is I'm a client now, and right, that basically what you're doing is your focus is formulating this company to do these types of things where people can do it themselves and expand it as well, to create a manifestation process for all of us to jump in and help and support each other, right?
Yeah, that's part of it. So I want to make sure that, yes, that's everything we just talked about. And I'm glad that you were able to articulate it so clearly. That's really awesome. And I appreciate that. That's like not the entirety of where we're going with all of this, as you know, but that is the first product that we're focusing on, so that we can turn it into everything else. Because basically there's another piece that I'm going to share with you right now, and now is the time because it ties it together a lot, is that, let me actually pull up what I want to share with you guys. Any other questions I can answer?
Yeah, I still don't know how do people see this, who gets it, how can I get, how can I connect it, the practical steps, the linking, the mind map, where's that, you know, all that stuff.
Yes, Burge, you and I are going to have a meeting, as I had, you know, shared we should, to be able to go over all of that, because that we're not going to be able to cover all of that tonight, and we've covered a lot of that, you know, previously.
Oh,
so,
you did?
And yeah, in the last meeting, we went into that. We even went into some of that, you know, previously, and I have with other people. So, you know, again, I apologize that I didn't prepare you as well as I could have for this. So okay. Okay. So what I've been really coming into awareness of around the empowerment that we're talking about for each one of us, to be, I really see that the tools that we're providing now are the mirror for everyone to see where they're stopped, really. And as public as they're being about it, it's as public as they're willing to be about it is as much as they can access support, I guess is the way of putting it. I'm going to I'm going to start sharing some things with you guys that I haven't been sharing publicly because I really haven't wanted these types of details to be the conversation around Uniting for Action in terms of like the challenges, the challenges that I've been facing personally, like we're talking about. And this is where I'm sharing it with you and I'm sharing it with the world because I need help in overcoming all of these challenges because what I'm saying we're going to do has to get done. Because what Uniting for Action stands for in terms of providing solutions and support and foundations for the world to be able to function at its highest level, for people to come together to create results, just that very concept, for people to come together to create results, to have that alive in the world. It must be alive in the world now. We all who get it enough have to take ownership of it, have to, forget that like Jared shown up with it. Whoever of us resonates, at the level that like this is a solution that will give me the world that I want to live in. I have to help this be alive. Those are the people that are going to be showing up and being, the clients like Dylan essentially. And you saw a little bit of, his enthusiasm about it. And there's other pieces where he's way more enthusiastic. And that's part of it, is that he's showing up to actually be like a promoter. In addition to being a client, he's feeling like he can be our pitch man, basically, for Uniting for Action, and that he has that kind of, energy, and that's the way he interacts with people. And he's, brand ambassador for different entities and that sort of thing. And this whole system is like perfect for him to be able to monetize all of his relationships, right? And at the same time, he has all of his own mind maps and his own things that he wants to get out into the world. And again, he can use like 20 hours of Emiliano's time each month, but he can't pay for more right now, but he can provide enough, return to Uniting for Action through additional sales that are coming through him, as an example. And again, this is just different examples of the ways that we can set up different value exchanges with each other within the system. But again, we can only talk about the system so long without actually having it working and using it in an automated way. And that's why I must do that now. And it's why I don't have the bandwidth to simultaneously maintain a leadership council, which takes energy and planning and preparation and relationships and all kinds of things. That just, if I could be another person like I've kept trying to be, I would keep going in that way. But this is where the Leadership Council just can't be a reality right now because of what I just described. And I'm looking forward to when someone else comes into our experience that's ready to like hold the energy of the Leadership Council and will be the convener and the one that manages, putting it all together. I don't think it's going to be me, for the same reason I'm not going to be the person organizing all the students. It's like, I've seen that role, I've played that role, I know how to put somebody in that role, and it's time for me to go on to the next role. And so even though all of these roles are not operational in the moment, there's so many roles that are defined in my existence that people will be showing up for and money will be showing up for, and all of this will come into existence as quickly as I can get it out of my mouth and onto video, and people like Emiliano and others can turn it into web pages and everybody can see it and everybody's going to be showing up. And part of what I'm sharing again is that let me share with you guys the things that I want to share directly, because let me take another drink and ask if there are any questions or comments.
Keep going. I'd just like you to keep going.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I've been getting, and Landmark, for those of you that have Landmark and Bird, you'll have to say what it's, what it's called in the essence of being lingo, I don't recall, but there's a saying in Landmark, you know, about getting, being authentic where you've been inauthentic, and just really looking for areas that, you know, just aren't there for people, you know. And so I've been, you know, kind of shielding, you know, the narrative, so to speak, you know, the around Uniting for Action in terms of, you know, well, many of you do know about the financial, you know, challenges that I've been having for a long time. And some of you have been, you know, even helping along the way. And I really appreciate that. You know, anybody that, you know, wants to share, you're welcome to. I don't want to put people on the spot, but I thank some of you that are here now and some others that have helped financially and loaned money and given money. And, you know, it's part of this realm of overwhelm that I've lived in, where the finances are just one part of it. My life, so many people would consider a disaster in so many areas. There are so many areas of my life that most people would have no tolerance for ever having in their life at all. And I'm getting really, really present to the extreme disempowerment that all of those situations hold for me, and this like deep, 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 deep well of disempowerment that I've been in for so long, and the total intolerance that I'm having for it now because of the total necessity for everything that I'm sharing with you about Uniting for Action being alive in the world. It's been a journey for the last 20 years of Jared getting Jared out of the way enough to allow all of this out. And some of you have seen some of that toil at different times over that period of time, but it's always been some variation of that. And now we're at the point where you guys are seeing some very tangible products, business tracks, you know, ways to really have what we're having, you know, alive in the world. And I'm simultaneously getting, you know, that for me, it's sharing my own messes in my life, and I'm about to start doing that on the website, sharing my like disaster of a room, sharing my disaster of my finances, all the extreme sacrifices that I've made, that my family has made, just on and on and on and on. Some of you have shared privately with me your concerns about some of it. Some of you shared publicly. Michael, we talked about it last time, you know, where some things you've shared privately with me and some things we've talked about in the open. And, you know, I'm getting more and more and more, and I appreciate you, Michael, and all of you, and those of you that aren't here but have played a role in helping me address all of this. And what I've been realizing is that I've crawled into this hole for the last 6 years, as I've shared with you guys, where I withdrew from the world completely. No more social relationships, no more social media, no more interaction with the world. I went into this self-imposed monastery, and I didn't understand it at the time. I shared this with some of you. I didn't understand at the time that that's what I was doing until I was so deep in it that I understood what the purpose of a monastery was. I never even understood it before till I had built one for myself. And I was living in it, and I was living the life of a monk devoted to what you're seeing now, different phases of it ago. And now that I have this, this way of bringing it all out, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought where I was.
Take a breath, honey. Just take a breath.
Yeah, this is really good. This is really good, Jared.
Just take a breath, honey. Just breathe in. Just let it go.
Yeah. I understand, and I understand, Michael, and I thank you. And it's part of what I've been getting, and thank you, Birch, for that. It's part of what I've been getting is that I have all of these pieces of shame all over my life, all scattered around me everywhere, reminders, and another reason to be ashamed, and another reason to be ashamed, another reason, another reason. And I know that I have to address all of that, and I have to clean all that up, and I have to do everything. And just like you've been saying, Michael, and I appreciate, you know, you for the voice that you've been from the beginning of how, you know, I have to address what there is for me. And so I remembered what I was saying with the monastery. I apologize that I lost my train of thought, is that I narrowed my life down to such a degree. I had neglected everything. I mean, finance is just this one thing, but just so many things, just neglected everything that could be neglected and avoided to the highest degree to focus just singularly on this mission. And so with all of that, you know, carrying all of that, and now, you know, being in this place of birthing it all, I need all of your support and everybody. The reason, again, that I'm sharing this with all of the world is so that everybody can support me wherever they can support me to get this all out. And what I'm doing is I'm creating that model for all of you and for everybody to get all the support that we could all use in all of the areas of our lives to be able to be the most divine expression of ourselves. So I'm getting that this is a big part of what this system is, and what's getting systematized is our way of using the tools and the systems as the mirror to allow the people who can see what's coming up when the mirror, when people get reflected in that mirror, and support them where they're at. Yeah, Michael?
Before you go back into that, I want to pull back just a second. And I would really like, I mean, this is really good stuff. Thank you. And I know this is very difficult to go down into this. What I would ask you is, why is helping all the world more important to you than the absolute effacing of yourself?
The absolute effacing of myself, is that what you're saying?
Of yourself, of the detriment of you. Where is, you said a very interesting thing back a couple paragraphs, and you were like, Jared has to get out of here so that this could come. Well, then what happens of you? I mean, well, I really, honestly, on a personal level, I really care primarily about you in this.
I really appreciate that. I appreciate you saying that. And, you know, the way that I've taken it is I feel like I've been sacrificing and stretching myself to such a degree, as you've been saying, that's been, you know, to the point of my limit for the last several years. And I feel like I'm on the end of that journey. And now is when I get to relax into the arms of everybody that's going to support me and support all of this, and allow me not to have to keep carrying all of the load, and allow everyone to show up wherever they're going to plug in. That's, you know, part of the beauty of the system. You're right, Michael. I've been doing it all on my own energy and carrying this whole enterprise. And we're very, very close to the finish line. The finish line being like a sustainable system that doesn't have to have me driving it. And we're getting.
Jared, I think what he's trying to say, and I could do a whole session with you about this, dear, as you know. Yes. So I think
I'm open to that. Sure.
The effort that you are putting out, when you say Jared has to get out of the way, that's what he said, Michael, but it's the shame, it's the blocks, it's the stuff that keeps coming up, the subconscious beliefs, the energy. And I think it's just not just this lifetime, but many lifetimes, if you believe in that kind of thing, but you have such a, I have to do this, energy of effort. And if I don't, right? Yeah. And that is the energy that you're vibrating out, that it is, this has to be done. And if I don't do it, who's going to do it? And it's like, it's very, there's a word for it. It's very, you know, what's the word where you can't, you just got it, you just got to be done. What?
Clutching.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be done instead of just relaxing into it more and just allowing it to unfold. And you've done enough. And that's the thing I want to say. You've done enough. And I know you've done enough. And you are enough. And that's the bottom line. And when you come from that perspective of everything that you do now and everything that you are right now and how you show up is gravy, all of this is going to relax into creating what you want. I feel it's going to be easier to attract people like us that would want to be able to support in this vision that you have.
I really appreciate that, and I feel that, and I appreciate you saying that. And I feel like again, you guys are catching me at my lowest and at my worst in my life, that I've been neglecting myself for all of these years, and I'm just now starting to embrace myself again. So you're seeing like the really most dysfunctional me I could be in this lifetime, essentially. And what's that?
It's fine.
Yeah, but
okay. And I have seen,
really,
but
really
this is
okay.
I've seen you before like this though, Jared.
I know, but I'm not saying it like in order for, you know, I know it's okay. It's why I'm saying it. It's that I'm ready to embrace the shift of mind, the shift of body, the shift of everything that you guys
are. What is that shift? What is, I think it's really important for you to understand and define what that shift really is, because it's not from outside of you.
Right.
There's a very deep conflict here, and that is
very what you cut out.
A deep conflict in your sort of belief system.
Yeah. Again, I really want to go down this road with you guys. You know, individually, I'd love to do it tonight. I'm just not sure that. I mean, we can see if this is what you guys want to come back to. I want to share. I have just a little bit to finish up what I have to share, and I'm welcoming all of your comments and all of your input. And I feel like I'm going to have, you know, individual conversations with each of you about these things and more. And that's why I'm starting to share all this. I'm going to go into a lot of depth on the website to get help everywhere. And that's the point for me, is that I'm ready to receive all of the support, whereas I was not, you know, allowing it before. And you know, I want to get my fingers on the types of things you're talking about, Michael Burge. I want you to help me, you know, find different things. So we're having this conversation because I'm newly making myself available to it all, because I'm shifting internally to be empowered enough to be able to, you know, not have all of these things holding me back anymore, and to be operating from this empowered space, and from also, you know, providing the systems for everybody to follow this path, and everybody to share what they want to share and get the help that they can help and be in their biggest empowered self. Yeah, Michael.
I think it's really vitally important that you understand this very large contradiction in your consciousness. And I'll spell it out as best that I can.
Please.
Contradiction is that you value the world more than you value yourself. And those two things are mutually incompatible. The world is you. So until you turn and really value you, I mean, all these things that have completely fallen apart in your life, and go to those and give yourself love, give that. This is the outside thing isn't going to happen.
Well, I
say to a lot of people, right? There's 8 billion people to fix, but really when it comes, what's that?
Nobody needs to be fixed.
The real thing is that everyone's you. So wouldn't the more efficient thing be to turn around and fix you? Again, and I understand the philosophical thing that there's nothing to fix, but you understand what I'm saying. There's some real.
Of course, that's what I do. That's what I've been doing for 40 years. It sounds like you need a refresher, Jared. You need to come back to essence of being and have a refresher about empowerment and wealth and being able to value yourself, like Michael's talking about, because you are important. You make a difference no matter what you do and how you show up.
And until you make yourself the most important thing, you can't make the world that. You can't make this project that. Does that, that's the contradiction here. It's
I
really important to.
I hear what you're saying. Let me welcome Dana. Thank you for being here, Dana. We've been going for an hour now, so I'm glad you could join us. Emiliano, you wanted to say something, and I want to say something back to Michael, but let me hear what you want to say, Emiliano.
And I like what's being said. I'll just share from my experience where I've put myself in situations where I sacrifice myself to generate projects or generate visions and generate community. And it gets to a point where I notice that, yeah, everybody's getting the benefit and I'm just, down, right? I'm not experiencing the pleasure, the fulfillment or the taking care of myself that I need. And so I've noticed that pattern a few times, and I think it's similar. I relate to Jared because the drive, the vision, everything is there, but it's crucial for me to take care of myself first before I can take care of others. Otherwise, I'm not gonna be able to function properly. So I've made decisions in my life to let go of the project and basically go and move on to something completely different. And I've seen that when I do that, the project continues, which is awesome. But it was until that I made that conscious decision that I can't continue putting the project on top of myself. So thank you for sharing that, Michael. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate all of you guys saying that. And again, I've been in a space where I haven't been, willing to shift yet, apparently. But I've been recently in a space where I've been shifting, as evidenced by us talking about it. So I agree with the premise that I need to focus on these things more, have refresher courses, do all of these things, have a session with Dana. There's all these things that are on my to-do list to do to help, be more healthy about all of this. So I'm opening myself to all of that now. I don't feel like it's any time to take my foot off the gas of what I'm doing with Uniting for. When I say not any time to take my foot off the gas, as I shared with Emiliano the other day, and he rightly said, "Oh, so you're taking the coaching that Michael, you primarily gave last Leadership Council meeting, where I did take some days of downtime over the last few days. That there is it's basically essentially like an extended weekend. I was doing work on all of the days, but not as much as I would normally do, and just really breathing because I was in such a state of stress last week. A lot of you know that I'm in every week or two, it's been more like every week, there's some big bill that has to get paid to prevent financial disaster for the situation that I'm in. And the way that it's been cycling, there's so much time and energy and effort, built up around just dealing with that. I know that the long term is having, the not only the full service, but just people providing what they want to. I'm very excited about people doing that. So that's, again, we're getting very close to this financially sustainable model, which will allow again, me not to be on this cycle of panic every week or two around the finances and all of that. And then, the embracing of having these sessions, Burge with you, Michael talking with you, working with Dana, all of these different aspects. This is, I get that these offers that are being made to me now were not made to me, weeks ago, because I wasn't being in a place where I was demonstrating a need necessarily, right? It's this, to me, aspect of again, just being authentic where I was being inauthentic, even again, just to deal with, just to deal with health stuff and eye stuff and just, very basic things that, again, I won't get into all of the details. The bottom line with it all is that I'm embracing the support Michael, Burge, all of you, Emiliano, are offering and sharing, and I'm availing myself of all of the support in the world. And it's where I totally feel, Burge, that energy that you're saying, like, if I don't do it, the thing about this, that's not my energy at all. There's no, to me, there's no like dying involved in any of my.
I'm not talking about dying, honey. I didn't mean
for me, what it is I do have to do this because I can't keep watching the world burn down around me.
You don't have to do this, Jared. You choose to do this.
Okay, I choose to do this because I feel so compelled that I must.
Wait, can I say something? Can I say something right now?
This is not about death. This is just about the overwhelm that you feel.
But Jared, what you just said was you will choose your burning down before the world. And again,
not permanently. Short term, I've done that. Yes. Short term, I've listen. I appreciate all of you saying it could have been done some other way, but no one's ever done what I'm doing, and no one's ever done it another way. And I appreciate that all of you think that, and I know it's true because there's infinite possibilities. So I know there's an infinite other ways. I know that I chose a lot of different things that I chose all along the way. I take responsibility for all of that. Now we've arrived at the place where, as I'm sharing with you, we're on the cusp of having a business foundation that allows, me personally to be supported on a higher level, and also everybody. This is very quickly going to be a very large corporation because the concepts are just solid. And as soon as we have a very, basic working prototype, there's no reason for it not to go viral. And part of it too, just to share with you guys, and this is going to be an accelerant, and this is why not only do I want to get this, technical stuff worked out, but also I want to get my insides worked out with you guys, because I personally can, the way that I see it at the moment, and I may choose to do this if it's still available and I choose, but I think there can be a voice around what's happening around Ukraine in the world right now that doesn't exist right now. And I'm considering whether I'm going to take the lead on that, which would blow things up a million times over. But let me tell you why I'm feeling that. And I'll share this with you quickly, because this is a big part of all that we're talking about. And it's exactly what we're talking about. Let me pull up the bullet points because I want to be very specific about this. Okay. So for me, I see, I don't see what's happening in Ukraine as an assault against Ukraine. I personally am seeing it as an assault against humanity. And so I'm really, being embarrassed that I'm kicking back and watching people being assaulted and killed on TV, and millions of people's lives being upended. And I'm eating snacks and having cookies and hanging out in my comfortable world. And to me, having a loved one there doesn't need to be a prerequisite for feeling connected. Like, I feel connected to those people in that situation, regardless of the fact that I don't know a single person personally in the country right now. And I feel like I have to bring my actions into alignment with my consciousness and help however I can. And this has been the experience that I've been having as I've been watching the news footage, and as I've been watching, people that have been soldiers in the past that are volunteering and going over and fighting and leaving their families behind, and talking about going there to defend freedom and to defend the ability for a sovereign country to have their own existence. And I in another lifetime, I was a soldier. I'm not a soldier in this lifetime. I can't die on a battlefield. That's not my highest and best purpose in this lifetime. And that doesn't mean that I can't give whatever I can give to support the freedom for people and the stopping of the dying. I want to share with you guys a very short video And then I want to explain the feelings that are coming up for me and explain what I'm planning to do about it. And it, you know, adds to all of this because it's a microcosm of what you're talking about, Burge and Michael and Emiliano, is that like, it's not just Ukraine. For me, it's also climate, it's plastics. I mean, as bad as the slaughter is in Ukraine, as bad as the millions of people whose lives are being upended, it pales in comparison to the millions and billions that are going to be affected by climate change in as equally a destructive way. It's like we have all of these things that we are unleashing assault on ourselves as a humanity. And I do feel like I can stop it. I have experienced my God self enough to understand that every one of us can be the creator of worlds. It's a matter of what we're willing to be committed to and what we can communicate effectively and what we can inspire people with and what we can put together. Like all the pieces are there. I've been spending my life understanding this chess game and understanding how to master it so that it can be turned around and we can be living in a world where it's win-win. All the things that I'm sharing with you guys, it's an inevitability that all of the higher ways of being that I'm sharing with you around Uniting for Action, it's an inevitability that that becomes our standard if we evolve in a positive and progressive way. You know, of course, if we evolve to nuclear annihilation, then we've gone in the wrong direction. But if we can envision and hope that we can evolve in a positive way, all of the things that you're seeing with Uniting for Action have been born out of the energy and intention of win-win, create, you know, positive results for everybody. And that's what we're doing. And so I'm holding the energy to bring all of this in the world right now. Let me share this video, this short video with you, and then any questions or comments before I share that?
I mean, I really would try to like to instill this idea in you, and you're absolutely sort of pushing away from it here in what you're talking about. And my suggestion to you, and
I don't think I can flip on a dime with it, Michael. I think what you're suggesting is something I'm going to have to really sit with for a while, as I have been already.
And so, as Alan Watts would say, like, I love when he speaks some of his things. I want you to play. I'm not trying to prove this to you. I would like you to consider this and play with it. But what if the war that's going on here is really the war that's going on inside of you? What if all the plastic mess is really the mess that's surrounding you right now in your room? What if all these things is just something internal, is a projection of your internal consciousness? And what if instead you kept going out here to try to, you know, I don't know, catching a plane and going to the Ukraine to save a baby or something? What if you turned around? You're not there. That isn't your space. Your universe is a very different one. But what if you considered that as your space, turned around and went in and started looking at where the war was within yourself, where the mess is within yourself, and why that's
you say start to turn in, but I have been turning in. I'm early in the process, but I'm not avoiding it. It doesn't have to start. I'm in the process.
No, listen. I'm so proud of you tonight. Like, I'm very proud of you. I've been watching this sort of from I don't know where my perspective has been, but I'm very proud of you because this is the start of something. Finally.
This is what's necessary, like you're saying, and I'm taking the coaching and I'm understanding what's necessary to get and that's what we're doing. Again, even for me to communicate all of this into the world, even if it wasn't me holding the energy to make it all alive, once it's communicated out there and mapped out for the world, then anybody can take it up and run with it. And that's kind of like there is this urgency for me because tomorrow is not guaranteed for any of us, right? And I've spent so many years and decades to get to the point to be able to like get all of this out. You know, now it's spurting out of me. I want to get it all out enough that the world could do something with it. You know, God forbid something happened to me on the highway, you know, at some point. It's just, you get what I'm saying? It's like there's so much that's been invested in me in order to realize what you're starting to see in the world, that I do have this this certain degree of unease. But part of the unease is, again, seeing what's happening. I hear what you're saying, Michael, that like if I could just, you know, not be concerned about what's out there and totally focus inward, I could see that, you know, what that would look like in terms of a difference. I don't know that I could do that again in this moment, but Dana, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I'd like to come in here. So hi, everybody who I haven't met yet. My name is Dana Smith. I'm living in Bali. I'm a personal coach. My company is called Lightcraft. I specialize in going into the subconscious mind of individuals who identify shadows and help liberate energy. And I've been working with Jared now for some time. And recently I've actually, and when I say working with Jared, I mean, we met at a mutual, through a mutual friend in a virtual gathering space. So him and I have been united.
I have to jump in and just say that Angie connected me with. So thank you, Angie, for the connection to George and the Purpose Alliance that connected me with Dana. I have to give Angie her props there, which is, you know, the way that all this works. Thank you, Angie. Great to connect with Dana.
Thank you, Angie. You're muted, Angie, so we can't hear you. Cool. So, hey, Angie, you're muted. So I see that you're talking, but we can't hear you.
Oh, shit.
Recording in progress.
Here we go.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah,
hold on.
thank you.
Okay, I'm just gonna.
I just want to say that I'm really glad that my connection now.
Yeah, who's ever not on
mute.
Hold on. I'm sorry, Angie.
Thank you.
Michael, Dana, Kat, can you all go on mute so that Angie won't be echoing? I'll do it too. Angie.
I just want to say that I'm really glad that my connection has created Dana's presence here now.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely been very powerful. I would say for sure, Jared and I are uniting for action. And as I've become a part of this project, I've surveyed the energetic landscape of what's occurring, and I see that there's limitations that we're bumping up against. And obviously, we're all witnessing and energetically sensing limitations within Jared's own mind. And one of the things I want to first of all say is that these limitations are completely able to be transcended. And I've received quite a bit of insight and information now since our last call here in the Leadership Council on what specifically that transcendence feels like, what that energy feels like. And Jared, the insights that I've gained relate to the masculine energy that I've felt in this project for a long time. This like really strong, powerful masculine energy that just acts. It doesn't ask for necessarily permission. It just is doing things and optimizing the system efficiently, quickly, and just moving forward with that. So I see that whatever it is that you're transmuting within yourself, I personally feel that there's a giant reservoir of energy that you've been building for some time. And now it's just time for a little bit of ego death to let go of things that are not allowing you to access that power. And this thing with money too, I mean, I see that that's going to be completely obliterated as well, where you don't have this nagging pattern of like, you know, there's a big bill coming up and then you have to go into whatever mode of consciousness to try and get that figured out. But it's more of a long-term thing now where those bills are going to be paid for. Those things are going to be completely paid for, and your energy is going to be liberated to just continuously act. I also sense that like our connection and then the connection with what's happening here with the world of unity with George, it's all very interconnected, everything that we're doing. We're all working on very, very similar things. So I just want to plant that seed here and also say, you know, I'm about to be going on my Vipassana for 10 days. So I won't be accessible for 10 days. And when I come back, I mean, I'm already full power, but when, you know, there's going to be a lot of things that are tightened up and tuned up during that process. But I just want to really communicate that I've started to tap into the energy signature now. It's palpable. I can feel it in my heart. It feels amazing. And it's just, and this thing also of like this time crunch that I've heard spoken about during this meeting the last few minutes, of like Ukraine's at war, we got to do something fast, we got like, it's like this kind of like this type of energy that actually is somewhat of an illusion. That anxiety is an illusion, because when the anxiety is liberated and you're just in your power, there's no longer the fear that you're not doing enough. There's no longer the fear that it's not getting done, because you're existing in your embodiment to such a degree that you're just,
I just say that.
You just
you're
seem
just constantly working on it. So that
Kat, I'm sorry, Kat, do you mind muting, please?
Oh, sure. Sorry. Yeah.
Thanks.
So that's one of the big energetic differences or transmutations I see occurring, because I've been caught in that anxiety myself as well. And that anxiety comes from not being in like a total alignment with my mission in some way. And so whenever, as you become more integrated and start to embody this energy more, this specific frequency that I'm feeling of this masculine energy, it's deep in the solar plexus. That's where I feel it. It's a solar plexus energy. And the more that we're able to tap into that, all of the money thing's going to go away, and the anxiety is going to go away. And it's going to be an up leveling. It's going to be an expansion of what you're already doing. And Uniting for Action is going to go through, I believe, a kind of massive tuning up of its operations. So any like loose energy, any energetic leakages are going to be fixed, and the machine will be running more smoothly, and it'll be a cleaner system. So, and the color blue specifically is associated with this. I keep seeing blue.
I really appreciate you saying all of that, Dana. And I really see everything that you're saying. And I have confidence that it'll go exactly the way you're describing. That's the type of thing that I feel like I'm attracting. Again, Dana, Burge, Michael, everyone has a role to play in this with me. I'm ready to be in your paradigm, in your world of the conversation around this, because everybody has their own, paradigm of how they talk to me about it and what it means for them and what it looks like. And I appreciate everyone's different, way of describing the elephant, right? So yeah, Michael, you want to say something?
I would just like to ask on a substantive level, because I do agree with Dana. We were talking about your abundance, like this money coming in. I want to ask you specifically, how do you think that that's shifting?
Well, how is it shifting, like in the material world, or how is it shifting in my mind?
On an energetic level, how are you going to shift that?
Probably both.
Well, they are both, because the inner is the outer. So
are you asking how it's been shifting to this moment, or how it's shifting from this moment on, or what are you asking?
Well, let's say we're mid-shift right now, as Dana was suggesting.
Okay, so we're mid-shift.
I'm asking you substantively, how do you think that, what is changing substantively?
So substantively, what's changing is I'm cleaning my room, I'm doing my taxes, wherever I'm encountering these places that have been disempowering for me, I'm taking action and eliminating that. And slowly, I'm pulling all the weeds up, and I'm empowering myself in all aspects of my life, so that eventually there aren't any disempowering thoughts or actions or ways of being or whatever. So
I would posit there that you're actually finding your own worth, finally. That instead of putting the world and the Ukraine and people all over more worth than yourself, that you're finally turning that around.
Okay. I appreciate that that's the way that you describe it, and that we can have that conversation in that way. And I honor that, and I appreciate that. And I want to keep having a continued conversation. Michael, I've let me share this in terms of getting authentic where I've been inauthentic. I've been wanting to connect with you and work with you with the manifestation process, and it's been a missing for me that we hadn't done it. And then last meeting, you mentioned to me that you had just finished that big project. So I understood why you'd been busy. And I thought, okay, great. I got to connect with Michael tomorrow. We've got to find a time. We've got to do it before the next leadership council meeting. And then again, I've just been in this, mode of not having the time, the bandwidth, but I want to be in that space with you. And let me share with everyone that part of what's happening going forward, as you kind of mentioned, Burge, and I want to let Angie say something since she has her hand up, but let me just address this first, is that Burge, you said, so you're going to be a client. Yes, all of you are going to be clients, members of Uniting for Action. Everyone's, and we do have to, and Kat's brought this, to attention, and others, that we have to have, and we talked about it a few meetings ago, some kind of declaration or pledge. Or what does it mean to be a member? What are we pledging to? What are we agreeing to? What is a member? What distinguishes a member? So, in the most broad sense, the way that I see it is that members are the ones that are agreeing to come together, to work together to create results, and that we keep it pretty broad like that, not to exclude people. And then, from there, the members are served at different levels. There's all the self-service stuff. There's all these different, people that are coming in to provide value added, whether it's helping people use tools or business things or address things on a personal level, like you guys are talking about. So all of that is available. And so, in terms of, the ways to set up all the interactions with people, that's where we're going with it. I want to let Angie speak, but any questions or clarifications about any of that before we have Angie share what she would like to share? No? Okay, Angie, please, thank you.
Give me 1 second here.
Yep.
All right. So first off, I want to acknowledge Jared, because I feel like you've been definitely doing a lot. You've been putting a lot of energy and a lot of your heart. You've been pouring your soul and your spirit and all of your life force energy to think about all of these different communication solutions for all of us as leaders in our communities. And I think that you're really onto something. It's just a matter of time for all of the pieces to integrate and to really connect and click. So I think that there's a lot of good insight that we just received from Dana. You've been very much in this, just kind of doing and very masculine energy, which I think it's great. You've done a lot. And I think it's also good for you to take a seat back, not saying that you're going to stop doing this, but perhaps taking a Vipassana meditation and just backing off and going within and integrating so that you can have that balance of the feminine and the masculine, or just giving yourself more time every day to meditate and to do yoga and to breathe, because those are the times where the answers that we can't get when we're in the masculine and we're trying to force things, that's when the things will come to you. That's when the idea will come to you. That's when all of the missing pieces are going to click back. So I think it's just about balance and not trying to force things into place, but rather allowing things to also flow into place as you are already very driven and you're doing a lot. So just creating more of that balance. And also, I think that you have offered us a lot. You created all these sites for us. You literally gave us a blueprint. So I think that
the mind map work is brilliant. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a service. I mean, you're literally providing us a very high level service, and I think you should be charging a lot more money for what you're doing. So I think that maybe you just need to change a little bit of your business model. And of course, there's a leadership council. Maybe that's a low income offering or a low investment offering, but maybe you don't get as much as a leadership council. You're just more part of a call, more of a group. But if you're going to be getting this site and this mind map and all of these different services, then I think your clients should be paying a higher premium price And then that's also going to help you have more money coming in for you to pay your bills.
I think it could be a $1,500 service if we all meet, you know, like say that we get a big corporate client, because I'm about to talk to, I know it sounds crazy, but the chief marketing officer of Disney about Magic Water. So for example, Disney, I think Magic Water is working too well for me. This is getting weird. I met Cuba Gooding a week ago. What the hell? So I know, Michael, you like movies. So $1,500, and maybe we all, like whoever joins in on a mastermind for Disney Magic Water pools the share of what we charge Disney. Just an example, at the C highest level of the 6th largest media company in the world. Just spitballing. Sorry, I know I was late. I shouldn't even be talking.
Well, I appreciate you bringing it up, Kat, and thank you for sharing, you know, the idea and holding the energy for what will be really big with us, which I really, really appreciate. And Angie, I really appreciate you saying all that you said about the balance. And you want to continue with what you were sharing, Angie?
Yeah. So
and actually,
do
you mind turning your camera sideways so we can see the other way?
Sorry, I'm like outside and there's a lot of lights here, and
yeah, no worries.
I'm not to be in the dark.
No, I'm saying turn it widthwise so that we can see you the other direction. Yeah, awesome.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. Great. Awesome. So yeah, what I was saying is that I think you could have different levels of tiers for your membership. So you have your first level, which is being part of a council group where you're meeting with other leaders, and that could be a low income offering. And then you could have another tier where you're offering a listing of the site, the mind map, etc. And then perhaps you have a premium tier that's for big businesses, where you can have another group or something like that. Whatever you can think of, making 3 different tiers of membership, and you have like low, medium to deluxe, and just increasing your prices. I think you're offering incredible services and you're charging too little. So I think that you should do that. Of course, it's your choice.
But let's not discount that he's such a fundraiser that he had us pay him $300 essentially to help him. So that's some sales skills.
This is like a beta. Exactly, like a beta.
That's what I'm saying. I honestly think it's worth $5,000, but let's just start. Yeah. Like I was coached tonight, like, Kat, calm down. You're now, Magic Water's working too well. Stop drinking it. That's kind of a joke, but like your foot is on the 2nd rung of the ladder. That's all. We're at ground zero, like as a team.
I appreciate you saying that, Kat, and being in that space. And I agree with what you're saying, Angie. And actually,
I'm almost done.
Actually, a lot of you don't know, you know, what we've actually been charging. So I realize that's a missing for most of you. So it's been the going rate, so to speak, and this isn't published on the website right now, but it's $300 for the 1 hour mind mapping session, and then an additional $600 to turn that 1 hour into a web page like you saw for Burge and that we've done for Electric Token. So those are our current prices, and that's basically just where it's at the moment. We're going to have higher prices and we're going to have lower prices, and we're going to start to create the market rate based on the skill level of the people like Emiliano that are conducting the analysis and doing the processing and all that sort of thing. So people will be able to pay for whatever they want, but those are our current rates. Angie, I see you still have your hand up. Did you want to say something again, Angie?
No, not really. I don't know how to put my hand down, but yeah, I think those were.
Let me see it.
Those were my 2 cents. And and then I guess the other thing I do want to say is maybe you can have an ongoing thing. I know it's 3 months each leadership council, but I feel like sometimes 3 months is not enough to continue. So maybe you can have something that keeps people going and renovating. Well,
actually, yeah, thank you for saying that, Angie. I get that you didn't hear what I mentioned before, that that we're actually not going to do another 3 months now. So
I see.
we're not going to have any more leadership council for the time being. So this is the end of our time together. It's really, it's kind of sad in a way, but I really appreciate and honor you guys. And we're getting very close to 9:30, and I want to keep talking to those of you that want to stay a little bit more. I want to keep talking, but also if any of you have to leave, I understand now is when we said we would end. Kat, let me have you say something, and then I'll keep talking, because there's still a bit more I want to share with you guys, and I want to let you guys share with me. So if you can, stick around. Kat?
Yeah, and I'm going to make it real brief, so whoever has to leave, you know, definitely you have things to do. I think you guys have been going since 6:30. Is that correct?
No, since 8. Our normal starting time, 8 p.m.
Oh, Juan told me 6:30. Oh my God. Okay. Confused. Okay. What I want to do is distinguish that when I learned marketing, sorry to name drop, a Kellogg Business School at Northwestern Integrated Marketing Communications program, there's business to consumer. It's called B2C, right? And Vince Polito and I had a collaboration with Juan that a lot of spiritual teachers are broke because they're B2C and they don't want to do this marketing and the promotions. B2B is Jared's ultimate vision, is to have the Fortune 500 companies coming to us. And my B2C, my B2B lights, like a lighthouse, is on. So if we land one Nike, one collaboration, one something, we very quickly could be, and I'd like to be vice president of something for no money as volunteer. I'd like to be vice president of promotions for no money. So if, I don't know, 5 hours a week or something. B2B, B2C, charge 300. Sure. Because, you know, shoemaker has no shoes. The guy with the crystals doesn't know how to promote himself. Fine. But B2C, we can just go through the Economic Forum's corporation list, you and me, Jared. And that's where I want to spend time with you because, you know, my mother's cousin. So yeah, okay.
I appreciate what you're saying, Kat, and I want to address it. I also want to address what Emiliano just said, that he's going to have to leave. So I do want to respond to what you just said, Kat, but thank you, Emiliano, for being here and for all that you're doing. I'm going to share more about Emiliano in a moment in terms of, you know, ways that he's supporting and the way we're going to.
The recording. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Emiliano. See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. That, you know, the roles that we're creating and will be available. And that's kind of the thing, is that now it's going to be, rather than have a council, which has been very valuable. And I really, really honor and appreciate all of the counsel that I've been receiving from you guys. And I hope, again, that I will keep receiving individual counsel from each of you, and that we'll make the appropriate connections and all of that. And at this point, it's going to be more of building the team of the team members that are providing some specific aspect, whether it's promotion, sales, marketing, analysis, video production, whatever it is, that it's time to build out the corporate, you know, team to be able to function well, to be able to, you know, serve clients. And in the ways that Kat was just describing, you know, we're serving business clients a lot more, I think, than personal to begin with, just because of the costs and that sort of thing, and the value, you know, for the corporations and for that sort of thing. So I want to, there's again more I want to share. Kat, thank you. Did you have more to, your hand was still up. Do you want me to lower it for you, or?
Oh no, let me just wrap up by saying that Satya gave me her car, which is a 1999, whatever, it doesn't matter. And I see a campaign with creative corporate logos on cars. Like, I'm going to logo up my car, and I'm going to contact the chief marketing officer of Nike, Disney, whatever. And I'm working with some of the best vandalism artists, graffiti, that sounds bad. Graffiti artists at Wynwood and Art Basel. So there's a whole something working in an artistic scale that's very inspiring. And you could picture every member now could become part of our car program. If they have a shitty car, we can paint it and get them paid from a large corporation, for example. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, I appreciate, Kat, that you're having, you know, these different brainstorming ideas, and, you know, I look forward to when we can, you know, continue to have more conversations about the different, you know, ideas and potential ideas, you know, to bring it back to, you know, what we're talking about and what we're sharing. I want to, you know, set the stage for how we go forward from here, you know, individually and together, is that, as I've been sharing, you know, this open source structure, we need everything. And especially, I think all of you that are left now, except Kat, maybe all the rest of you that are on the call and others that aren't here, that you guys serve people, you know, in your supportive role. And so I really want to have, you know, build out this part of the site and really work with you guys to be supporters of all of the people that are going to be showing up, and really automate this as much as we can, so that Burge, all the people that could use your support, you know, find you and get to you, and, you know, feel the compelling content, and Dana, you know, and Angie and Michael, all of you, you know, and again, so we will continue to have these conversations. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rest of this week to really focus on programming, page development, all of that, to be able to, oh, and Burge is one other example I wanted to show you of how, like, for example, you know, besides your page, the page that we have for the mind map process. So again, this is the step-by-step that we're creating, create the mind map, and then it gets into the case studies. And, like, you know, here you are as one of the case studies, Burge. And this is where, you know, the 2 minutes that basically you built out this whole mind map in the 2 minutes, you know, that you shared, which was perfect. So it's like the perfect case study of, you know, going from the video to creating the mind map. And so this is where, again, you guys will be integrated, and especially, you know, Burge, since we have, you know, your example, and we'll continue to refine that and talk about where we go with it with Shamanasta, and Dana, what we're doing with you, and Angie, all the content we have with you. There's definitely more to the story, to the Uniting for Action story, with each of you in its own individual way. It's just that, like I shared before, for the reasons that I shared earlier, you know, we just won't be holding the energy for the Leadership Council at, you know, in the same way at this point. But I also want to encourage and invite each of you, besides being in the support mode, to wrap your arms around any way that you would like to support this system that's supporting the world. You know, again, whether it's Ukraine or climate or whatever, you know, you care about, social justice, women's rights, whatever it is, that, you know, together we're collectively crowdsourcing and crowdfunding this tool that allows us to address it all, and whatever role each of you want to play. And there's lots of roles, and that's where I have to start using the system. And again, that's where it's been the perfect example, right? It's like overwhelm. I don't have time to use the system. I need to do it for Dana. I need to do it for Burge. I need to do it for Angie, all of these sorts of things. So again, it's why I'm carving out this time. I won't be meeting with anybody this week. Starting next week, I want to meet with each one of you, where we're basically doing like an exit meeting from the Leadership Council and an entry meeting into, you know, whatever our relationship is going to look like post Leadership Council. And I also want to honor and recognize each one of you, that you will all forever be known as, you know, part of this initial Leadership Council. So you're immortalized, you know, in this regard, in a really, you know, positive and amazing way. So I want to, you know, I want to let you guys share more, but I just want to take this moment to honor you. Thank you. Appreciate you for this moment in my life, in the evolution of Uniting for Action, and the evolution of humanity and, you know, the world and all of this. I just feel so blessed and privileged to be sharing, you know, this moment, the last 3 months plus, you know, with you guys, and look forward to how it all keeps evolving. And I will continue to be open to all of your coaching, support, ways of guiding me. I'm surrendering to all of it. You're all right. all of you. You are all correct. And I want to allow all of you to, you know, to work to mold me into the, you know, better vessel that I can be of all of it, because it's all there and it's all, you know, for all of us. So you guys are amazing. I appreciate all of you. And I'm very, very grateful for, you know, where we've been and where we go from here.
Cool. With that being said, I've got to bow out. Thank you very much for having me. I'm happy.
Thank you.
Oh, one thing before you guys leave. Jared, is there a way we can connect with the others? Did we do a G document?
Yeah, I'm going to create a Google Doc with it.
Yeah, because I want to meet everybody and I haven't been around and I missed the last one and blah, blah, blah.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Dana, thank you. I understand you have to go. And anybody else that has to go, you can go. I want to let you guys share anything you want to. But Burge, thank you. If you have to go, Dana, thank you.
Love you
Guys. Love you too. We'll talk to you very soon. Yes, we'll have our next meeting very soon, starting next week. Yes.
Yay. Talk soon.
Okay. See you, Angie.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, Michael.
Bye.
Bye. So it looks like it's just us, Kat. So I'll say goodbye and we'll connect soon. So good night. You're on mute, but I think it's
I think by the end of the year I could put 100,000 in both of our pockets. I am now lit. Like I've worked for large corporations in the marketing departments. Okay, I
appreciate it.
Because I'm not going to do the B2C. I don't have time.
I appreciate it. I'm excited to connect.
I'm going to do B2B with you at the largest levels, like United Healthcare, Benefit Mall.
Awesome. That's awesome. Okay. We'll talk soon.
Right.
Great.
Okay.
Bye.